You are not being then influenced by past of the perceived realities that most of the time are not necessarily of the truthness. You will be thinking they are of the truthness, but they are not of the truthness, because there are many of the connections that happen. So you are trying to be of the feeling in this moment. How am I being of the feeling in this moment? And one of the, what you call it, of the issues with that is that you cannot be feeling in of this moment. What you will be feeling is this moment and many other moments that has been of the colliding into this moment now. So therefore you cannot know of the truthness, but you are thinking, I think I am being of the happiness, or I think I'm being of the joyness, but you are not sure if you are being of the joyness.
Wow, that was fascinating. So this is the first time I've ever heard that it's not the feelings that we need to focus on, but it's the sensing of the resonant field, which is here in the present moment, because feelings are of the past. That is news to me, but I understand, I really do, because I'm feeling, I'm sensing that. Hello, welcome to another episode of Galactic Guidance. And in this week's episode, I have just received a concept that I have never heard before. I have never read in any spiritual book. I've never heard channeled before, but it has been channeled here today. And it's about emotions. It's really fascinating. So the way that we navigate the new world is not, believe it or not, with emotions. It's something else. Our channel, Marcus Bird, has been channeling Ameed from the Lyra star system for the last 30 years. And Ameed is a higher dimensional being from another planet. And she's just brought in a whole new concept about how we navigate life. So stay tuned. This is a fascinating episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Galactic Guidance. And in this week's episode, we've got Marcus Bird, who channels Ameed. Hey, Marcus.
Hey, Eleni, great to be here. Yay.
But who you do channel and who you do allow to take over your body, which is a huge trust in doing that, is our beautiful off-world being Ameed, who's a female energy, and she lives on another planet. And I love
Lyra. Well, in the Lyra system.
I always say Lyra, so it's Lyra.
Lyra. Either one will do. Okay. Doesn't matter.
All right.
Over there.
Over there. So whenever you're ready to.
Yeah, let's see what happens today, shall we?
Let's bring her.
I mean, that's always the fun thing. Neither of us know what's going to appear. It's kind of funny because every time we come in, I go, what's going to happen? And I get nervous. I do have a little nervousness because it's like, what will happen? What will they, my earthly body wants to know what's going to happen. What's the conversation? What are we going to talk about? And are we set? And I just let that go. And
just let it go. Just let it go.
We'll just do that. I'll just get out of the road.
Yeah.
And we can play.
I'm guessing that nervousness is like adrenaline coming through. And Marcus is now connecting to Ameed. And interestingly, when she comes through, I can actually feel her in my body as well. And if you sit down and close your eyes, my bet is that you will feel her energy in yours, because we can feel energies from everywhere. We do not have to be in the same literal physical room, because that's just a construct anyway. Energy is everywhere.
This is of the much of the joyness that we are being in of this moment, Miss Eleni. It is much of the joyness. We are loving of the feelings of the energy, or what you'd be considering of the feelings of the energy. But we are not into of the feelings like you are being having of the feelings. We are much more in of the integration of the energetic construct and the resonance of the vibration and the frequencies that we are connecting with. One of your aspects is you are being connected in of the feelings. One of the what you might be thinking of as the problems that you are being having of the connecting in of the feelings is that you are of the feelings are much of the connected to of the past state reality. And therefore, when you are being in of the feeling, you are bringing in and of the calling in other experiences and other of the reality scape that you are connected with. So you're of the feelings, Miss Eleni, are connected to the past perceived reality of the existence and of the dimensional timelines. When we are being in of the feeling and we are talking about this is of the sacred moment and we are much of the joyness in of the feelings, we are tapping into of the resonant frequency field. Therefore, we are tapping into of the nowness of the frequency of the resonant field, not of the feelings that are connected in of the past perceived reality state, but of the nowness. And we are being of the responding into of the frequency fields that we are being of the sensing. And this could be of the better way to be of the expression, Miss Eleni, is of the sensing. And when you are in here of the here-ness and when you are being in of the experience of this, of the message, we would be asking you to be sensing into of the resonant frequency field and be of the letting of the go-ness of the feelings. The resonant of the frequency field will help you to sense of the stability nature or of the harmonic nature. When you are being in of the feeling, you are most of the often in of the destabilized state, and that there are disharmonic resonant patterns that are in of the past perceived reality fields. You have been in of the moments of the feeling of the elation, and you have been of the moments of the feeling of the depression. And you are getting of the caught in of the feelings so much and so very of the often. Part of your consciousness of the expansion and much of the messages that we're here to be of the sharing is for you to be connecting in of the sensing of resonant frequency fields. As you are being of the expansion of your consciousness reality, you will start to be opening up to the resonant frequency fields and of the sensory nature of the connection to the resonant frequency fields. Therefore, you'll be able to let go of the feelings and not be caught in of the feelings. Much of the feelings are having the analysis in of the brain, and there is much of the judgment that is being in the construction of your, what you'd be calling of your feelings. Your expansion and your time is now to be stepping into the resonance and of the sensory nature of your connection to the universal construct, and being of the letting of the go-ness of the feelings. What we are wishing for you is to be in of the stable state of experience. This is a harmonic state of resonant frequency. When you are in of the stable state, you will be much of the happier, much of the joyfulness, much of the abundanceness, and much of the healthiness. But when you are in of the destabilized or the disharmonic nature, then you are much less of the happiness and much more of the not of the wellness that you'd be speaking of. We are much being inviting you to be in of the stable, connected, sensory nature of the resonant field. This is what we are wishing for you, Miss Eleni.
Wow, that was fascinating. So this is the first time I've ever heard that it's not the feelings that we need to focus on, but it's the sensing of the resonant field, which is here in the present moment, because feelings are of the past. That is news to me, but I understand, I really do, because I'm feeling, I'm sensing that I'm more centered than ever. I feel like I've come to a place where I am centered. I do feel aligned. I went through a period of time where my emotions were extremely high or extremely low, a bit of a roller coaster in the last few months, but I'm sensing my center these days. I sense that I am centered, that I am, that I have got this neutral balance about me. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, Miss Eleni, this is of what we are referring of the two-ness, what you will be experiencing when you are in of the sensory nature, When you are connecting into of the sensory nature, you are in of the expansion of consciousness state. When you are being in of the feelings, you are being in of a contractive consciousness state. And then you are being connecting into other experiences of the feeling state. And then you are at the mercy of the stable or destabilized, of the harmonic or disharmonic, because some of your feelings have been of the happiness and some of your feelings have been of the sadness, and many of your feelings are connected to of the experiences and of the events, and you are many times you are connecting feelings to of the experiences of your journey. Whereas when you are being in of the sensory nature, these are not connected to experiences. They are just being of the connected to in the now moment, here in this of the moment. And when you are being here and this of the moment, you are more likely to be in of the stable nature. You are more likely to be of the receptivity and of the expansion. When you are being in of the feeling, you are beginning to run of the linear timeline. You are no longer connected to the dimensional timescape, but you are connected to the linear timeline. And on the linear timeline, you have many of the experiences that being of the marked or being of the connected to past of the experiences. So when you are being in of the feeling, you are bringing many of those experiences into of this moment. Therefore, you cannot be of the truthfulness of the feeling. So when you are being saying, Ameed, I am feeling of the happy, we would be saying, you are the sureness that you are being of the happy. And you be saying to yourself, I think I am being of the happy. There in that of the moment, you're having of the doubtness because you are not sure if this is of the truthness of your feelings. Whereas when you are being of the sensory nature, you are being of the connecting into the resonant fields in this of the moment. Therefore, there are no other situations or of the events. There is no other energy that is being of the playing out. When you are sensing into of the selfness here in this of the moment, you are getting of the truthness of the reading of what is being in of the going on in this moment. Are you in of the harmonic state? Are you in of the disharmonic state? I am being in of the sensory nature of this moment. You are not be then influenced by past of the perceived realities that most of the time are not necessarily of the truthness. You will be thinking they are of the truthness, but they are not of the truthness because there are many of the connections that happen. So you are trying to be of the feeling in this moment. How am I being of the feeling in this moment? And one of the, what you calling of the issues with that is that you cannot be feeling in of this moment. What you will be feeling is this moment and many other moments that has been of the colliding into this moment now. So therefore you cannot know of the truthness, but you are thinking, I think I am being of the happiness, or I think I'm being of the joyness, but you are not sure if you are being of the joyness. When you are sensing into the resonant frequency field, you can be much more of the definiteness and of the sureness. That I am here in of the harmonic nature in this of the moment. And even when you are thinking about that, you do not need to even be of the saying. You just be, you just be of the moment. You don't have to be of the saying of the moment. You don't have to be reflecting of the moment, because the minute you are being of the sayingness, you are being in of the reflective nature, and already the pastness has been of the disappearing. So again, you are not able to be connecting fully into of the truthness. When you are being of the asked, Miss Eleni, how are you of the feeling? You can be in of the sensory nature of that of the question. And you can be reflecting the stability nature, the harmonic nature of what is going on for you. You could then be translating this to being in, I'm feeling absolutely of the fineness. I am feeling of the fineness. But being of the stability in of the now moment, being of the stability in of the sensory nature of the reality scape, this is what is of the importance as you are being in of the expansion of your consciousness state. And as you be of the understanding, Miss Eleni, we are here to be of the assistance, to be of the helping you to be of the expanded nature of your consciousness state. As you are shifting in of the dimensions, you are needing to meet of the next dimension with of your expanded nature of consciousness. You cannot be transitioning into of the next dimension unless of your consciousness is of the expanded nature. And if when of the shift is of the appearing and you are not of the expanded nature, then you are going to be having of the, what you'd be calling of the struggles. And then you will definitely be feeling of the not so good. You will be feeling of the badness, and many of the shifts will be happening in of the psychology of your humanness, of your nature. So we are wishing for you to be of the helpfulness, to be in of the guiding for your expanded consciousness awareness, and this is one of the most of the important aspects.
I hear what you're saying, that when we get into the feeling, it's an amalgamation of all sorts of feelings, and so therefore the true sensing is being diluted by previous emotions. I've got a question though. Many channels say that the way that we start channeling is by accessing our heart chakra and opening our heart. And when we open our heart, I do feel a sense of love sort of wash through my body. Are you saying that what I'm feeling is I'm sensing as opposed to feeling?
You are being of the funniness, because you are even using of the word. You are saying, when I am connecting in of the heart, I am sensing that I am feeling of the goodness or a feeling of the love. So you are already using of the word. So you are in of the sensory nature. This is of the most important aspect, not of the feeling nature, but of the sensory nature. And it is of the importance that you be connecting in at each of the aspects in your of the reference of the chakras. You are important to be connecting in of the full octave of the experience. And you can be doing this through of the chakras. You can be connecting to the full octave of the experience through of the chakras. Therefore, it's not just of the heartness that you be of the mentoring, but every of the aspects. Then you can be of the sensing this of the aspect. When you're in of the sensing, then you can be in of the expansion. When you are in of the feelingness, then you are not of the expansion. You are of the restricted nature of linear time space. And all of the effects that of your feeling nature have led you to be in of the experiencing. Therefore, we are wishing for you to do more of the sensory nature. And you can be in the sensory nature of the love aspect, of the resonant frequency field of the love aspect, not necessarily of the feeling of the love aspect. Because of the unfortunateness of this experience is that the love feeling has been much of the damaged, has been much of the hurtness. You have been much of at the mercy of the loveness. And you have been much of the conditional loveness. You have been very much of the experiencing of the conditional loveness. When you are being in the sensory nature, you are more likely to be experiencing the unconditional nature of the loveness. This is much more of the importance for you to then be connecting in and expanding out into the universal construct.
So I'm guessing in order to tap into our sensing rather than feeling, we really do need to have that pause where if we feel an emotion rise, we just stop and breathe and get back into the sensing of our environment as opposed to the emotion of something that's happened in the past.
This is much of the truthness. This is what you are being of the understanding. And you are thinking this might be of the confusing, because this is much of the subtleness. But in of the subtleness, you will find of the sacredness. In of the sacredness, you will find of the expansion. And that the subtleness and of the sacredness, you are being thinking, and you have been trained to think that it is much of the smallness, but actually it is much of the bigness. It is of the most important construct for you to be of the expanding, and of what you'll be saying, of the awakening, and of the realizing, and of the stepping into of the fullness of what you have been here of the mission to deliver. This is what we are wishing for all of you as you step into of this mission. And we have been saying in the past that we are being standing here on the other side of the veil together, and you are thinking to yourself, this is a mission that I wish to be going on the adventure of. And I was saying to you, I'm not going on that mission. I will be here to support you on the mission, because that mission is very much of the bigness of the mission. And this is a part of your mission, to be connecting into the sensory nature of the resonant fields, and be making of your assessment based on the sensory nature, not based on the feeling nature.
Oh, I love it. I love that guidance that you've just provided for
Mm.
us. Is there anything else you would like to say as final words before we bring Marcus back in?
Mm. Just be in of the focusedness of the sensory expansion of nature of your experience. When you are in of the sensory nature of those things that are being in and of around you, you will have a much deeper connection. You'll have a much more expansive of the experience. When you are being in of the feeling, you are of the limited nature. You can still be of the feeling. You can still be of the entertaining of the feeling, but just be of the knowing that this is of the restricted nature. Because of the feelings are connecting into a one-dimensional space-time connection, the linear aspect, whereas the sensory nature is much more spherical, and it is connecting into multidimensional time and space. So it looks like it is much of a subtle difference, but it is much of the importance of the difference. And this is much of the importance of the next phase of your expansion as you are stepping into the next dimension of the reality scape. We are much of the joyness that you are stepping into of this space. We are much of the joyness, and you are much of the loved. And we wish for you to be experiencing the fullness of the aspects of this reality. That is much of we are wishing for you to be experiencing the fullness of this reality. Much of the joy.
Thank you, Ameed. Hmm.
Oh, hey there.
How are
Whew,
you?
I'm good. How are you? Well, geez. How are you? That was a
Really good. That was
bit full on today.
it's a fascinating concept that I've
Ah,
not heard of before, which often happens here at Galactic Guidance, is that
mm,
Ameed just comes in with these concepts that um,
ah,
that haven't been discussed. I haven't read
yeah,
in any of the spiritual books. I haven't heard from any of the spiritual teachers, which is it's not about feeling, because when we're feeling, that emotion comes from a past time. And so
mm,
therefore it's not actually in the present. So if we're truly going to
mm,
be in the present, we need to sense, not feel. It's
mm,
the first time I've heard
mm.
of that one, which
I
is
think, I mean, she shares a lot of this new stuff because we're stepping into a new reality, like a new dimension, where things aren't going to be how they were. So there's a lot of old teachings that were absolutely relevant in a dimension and a space of time, but we're now starting to move away from that. So there's got to be new sort of concepts around some of these things because, it's a bit like you can't create a new thing with an old brain or what's that? There's a couple of sayings, famous sayings
yeah,
around, you
yeah.
can't create something different with what is it? I don't know. Anyway, Albert Einstein or someone famous used to say those things. So we are entering into a new landscape.
Oh,
So,
yeah. That seems like what you've just said is like, as an ex project manager, like terms of reference. Like,
right.
so you've got one project and these are the terms of reference
Yeah.
for this
Yes.
project. We're now moving on to a more expansive project. Therefore, the terms of reference must also change,
They have
which
to be different, don't they?
yeah. So it's not like the old one was wrong. It's just, it's no
No.
longer aligned to the new path
Correct.
and the new
Correct.
way of living
Yeah,
this
I think
reality.
that's a beautiful way to put it, because she never sort of says, oh, well, that's all wrong. That was wrong. You got it wrong. It's just adding to the next piece of the puzzle, so that we can step into that next, amazing aspect of ourselves.
Yeah. So
So that's
when an
kind of cool.
emotion comes up, rather than, oh, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? What is it? What's all this emotion? It's just like, just stop and breathe and just start
Yeah,
sensing as opposed to
sensing.
feeling.
Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I think, yeah, and that takes it takes a little bit of consciousness, focus, and but yeah, I think it's kind of interesting because I meditated before this and had a chat to Ameed, and I was talking about something, but obviously something totally different appeared, which is great because it's perfect, you know. And this is
Mm,
what I love about this because I'm a bit of a healthy skeptic still with all this stuff, which I know is pretty amazing, and I'm always, I try to control things as humans do. Like, okay, I mean, what are we going to talk about? Can we talk about this? And then we go into it and it's something totally different to what I thought, which is kind of cool. And it just anchors back down, the sort of reality of how this plays out. So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, it is.
Love it. Awesome
It's great.
conversation and
Thank
beautiful
you.
transmission as always. So thank
Yeah.
you so much, Marcus, for
Oh,
bringing
my
Ameed
pleasure.
forward to our space.
Yeah, and thank you for helping to facilitate this. And yeah, everybody, Eleni is the reason that this is happening. She encouraged me to step forward again and start sharing this. And I'd actually never, in 30 years, I'd only done very few limited closed group live channelings, very limited. I'd never done it publicly ever. And that's why you don't see hundreds of videos of Ameed talking, because I just refused to do it live. And I don't know. I just had this crazy resistance. And a number of years ago, Lenny goes, Carl, you've got to do this. You've got to do it. I'm like, no, I can't. She's like, no, 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 you've got to do it. It's okay. It's fine. And so without you just having that beautiful, loving support and just honoring the whole process of me and, Lenny's just got this beautiful way of loving people unconditionally, like
Oh,
beautiful way of loving people unconditionally. And it's rare, it really is. It's rare, I haven't had a lot of that, like most of us probably haven't, where it's just been beautiful. So you created this beautiful, safe place, and I went, let's just do it. And now I've implemented if someone asks, I just do it anywhere, anytime.
yeah,
Which years, a little while back, a few years ago, it was nowhere, anytime.
yeah.
Now it's anywhere, anytime, and it's kind of been beautifully freeing. So thank you.
Beautiful, Marcus. I received that, all of
Yeah,
that beautiful emotion that you've just shared with me. And yeah, I really received that. Thank
beautiful.
you so much. And thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And I think we've just seen each other at a sensing level, not at an emotional level, and
Mm,
and that's good. And even when emotions come up, guys, just fall back into the sensing, because the sensing takes you out of the emotional tug, which might lead you to be angry or frustrated with someone or whatever it might be. And when you get into the sensing, the experience of love is so much deeper. The feeling of love is lovely. Right? It's nice and it's beautiful, but the sensory aspect of that, the sensing of love is complete. It's just, yeah, so beautiful. Anyway,
I agree. It's for me, it's also a language change too, because I say
yeah,
feeling a lot.
yes, yes,
So I've got to
don't we?
start replacing feeling with what I'm sensing right now is,
Correct, correct. And
yeah.
as you rightly said, I think it gets you to stop for a second. Feelings can be very flippant. So how are you feeling? Oh, I'm great. And often the classic when you meet someone in the street. Oh, hey, Lenny, haven't seen you for ages. How are you? You go, yeah, I'm great, or I'm fine. When really you may be having a terrible day and feel really, yeah, right. But if you were to sense and go, yeah, if you stop for a minute and go, yeah, actually, thanks for asking. I'm sensing, yeah, that yeah, things are really nice at the moment, or gentle, or soft, or you might be sensing actually there's a little bit of destabilization, disturbance in my life. I'm dealing with it. It's okay, but yeah, things have been, anyway. It's a
And
different way of looking at it.
a different way of connecting. So rather than
Totally,
connecting at a superficial level, we're actually
totally.
really connecting.
Yeah,
We're being
yeah, I
authentic.
agree. I think you can be you can play superficial with your feelings, but it's very hard to play superficial with your sensing,
Mm,
right? Like, and I think just in the language, oh, how are you feeling? Oh, I'm great. Oh, how are you sensing? Not that we're going to say that, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's like, oh, hang on a minute. I got to think, I got to sit with it for a second, because you have to connect into it rather
yeah.
than an automated response, which is often a past perceived reality response, which is, okay, in this situation, I should say I'm fine, or I'm good, or I'm something. Anyway, that
Yeah.
could be funny. What if we started a campaign against, okay, no one's out allowed to ask how you're feeling. How are you sensing today? Wow. That would be
Yeah.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Why not? This could be the
why not?
language of the future.
It could be. That would be funny. Anyway.
Absolutely. I
All
love
right.
it.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed it, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Eleni, for sharing.
Thanks, Marcus, as always.
No
Thank you
worries.
so much. Bye.
Yay. Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Galactic Guidance. We hope that the messages that you receive from the higher realms have brought you clarity, insight, and comfort. Please like this video and subscribe to this channel. Remember to stay connected to your own inner guidance and trust the journey ahead.